All right, folks, we've been reading and talking about fairy tales, and this is the last fairy tale I'm going to read to you, and then next we'll begin reading a different kind of folk tale. But let's review really quickly the elements that we expect to see in a fairy tale. We may see magic, threes and sevens, good versus evil, talking animals, and royalty. We might not see all of these, or we could see every one of them, but chances are we're going to see some of them, probably several of them, in a good fairy tale. This fairy tale is one that I'm probably pretty positive you've never heard of before in your life, but it's one that I heard when I was growing up, and it is actually one of the ones that was collected by the Grimm brothers, and it's called The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. Now, little kids here is not referring to children. The babies that a goat has are called kids, and that's the kind of kids that this story is talking about. The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. Once upon a time, there was an old goat who had 7 little kids who she loved very much. And one day, she wanted to go into the forest to get some food for her babies. So she called all 7 of her little kids and said to them, "Dear children, I have to go into the forest. Be on your guard against the wolf. If he comes in, he will eat you up, skin, hair, and all. The wolf often disguises himself, but you will know him at once by his rough voice and his black feet." The kids all told the mother to take good care of herself and that she could go away without fear. Then the old goat went her way with an easy mind. It wasn't long after she left, though, before they heard someone knocking on the front door. "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and has brought something back for you to eat." Now the little kids knew that this was the wolf, of course, because they recognized his rough voice. And they said to him, "We will not open the door. You're not our mother. She has a soft, pleasant voice, but your voice is rough. You're the wolf." Then the wolf went away and went to a shopkeeper and bought himself a big fat lump of chalk and ate it all up to make his voice soft. Then he came back and knocked on the door of the house and cried, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and has brought you something back to eat." But the wolf had laid his big black paws on the window as he knocked, and the kids saw those paws and cried out, "We will not open the door. Our mother doesn't have black feet like you. You're the wolf." Then the wolf ran away and went to the baker and said to the baker, "I've hurt my feet. Rub some dough on them for me." And when the baker had done so, the wolf ran to the miller and said, "Sprinkle some white meal all over my feet for me." The miller thought to himself, "This wolf wants to trick someone." But the wolf said, "If you do not do it, I'll eat you up." And the miller was afraid and, of course, did exactly what the wolf told him. Sometimes people are that way. So when the wolf went back to the house for the 3rd time, he knocked on the door and said, "Open the door for me, children. Your dear little mother has come home to you and has brought each of you something from the forest." Now the little kids cried out, "First show us your paws so we'll know it's you and not the wolf." So the wolf put his paws up to the window, and when the kids saw that his paws were white, they believed everything he said was true, and they opened the door. But who should come in but the wolf? They were terrified and tried to hide themselves. One sprang under the table, the second sprang into the bed, the third went into the stove, the fourth went into the kitchen, the fifth went into the cupboard, the sixth went under the washstand, and the seventh went into the clock case. But the wolf found them all in no time, and one after the other he swallowed them whole. The youngest in the clock case was the only one he didn't find. When the wolf was full, he went outside and lay down under a big tree in the grassy green meadow and began to sleep. Soon the old mother goat came back from the forest, and what a sight she saw. The house's front door was wide open. The tables, the chairs, the benches were thrown down. The wash bowl was broken into pieces. The quilts and pillows were pulled off the bed. She looked for her children, but they were nowhere to be found. She called them by name one by one, but no one answered. When at last she came to the name of the youngest, a soft voice cried out, "Dear mother, I'm in the clock case." She took the kid out, And he told her how the wolf had tricked them and how the wolf had eaten up all his brothers and sisters. You can imagine how the mother wept for her poor children. And in her sorrow, she went outside for a little while. Her little youngest child went with her. When she came to the meadow, who should they see except the wolf, lying fast asleep under a tree, snoring so loudly that the branches shook. She looked at him closely and saw something moving inside his fat stomach. Oh heavens, is it possible my poor dear children were swallowed whole for supper and that they can still be alive? She sent the youngest kid running home to get scissors and a needle and some thread. Then the mother cut open the wolf's tummy and pulled out all her babies one by one. Then she took 6 fat stones and put them in his stomach in place of her children and sewed him up again. When the wolf woke up at last, he got up. The stones in his stomach made him very thirsty, so he wanted to go to the well to get something to drink. But when he began to walk and move about, the stones rumbled against each other in his stomach. And he cried out, "What rumbles and tumbles against my poor old bones? I thought 'twas 6 kids, but it's only 6 stones." When he got to the well, he bent over to get a drink. But the heavy stones made him fall in, and there was no help for him, and he drowned miserably. When the 7 kids saw what had happened, they came crying to their mother, "The wolf is dead, the wolf is dead." And the mother goat and her 7 little kids lived happily ever after. The end. Did we see any royalty? No. What about talking animals? Yes, talking goats and talking wolf. Good versus evil? Yes, the goats against the wolf. Did we see magic? Not really. What about 3s and 7s? Yes, the wolf came 3 times to their home and tried to trick them. There were 7 little kids. So we saw talking animals, good versus evil, magic, and 3s and 7s. Oh, sorry, we didn't see any magic, unless you want to count the talking animals as magic. Now, I hope that you enjoyed that story, and next time I'm going to read to you guys a different kind of folk tale. I think you'll enjoy this kind a lot. All right, bye.